Well, now, yeah. That was unfortunate timing. So, solve. We're solving rational equations. That just means we're solving equations that have variables in fractions. So, here, don't get scared. We're gonna get rid of these fractions, so everything's gonna be fine. So how do we solve these? Well, maybe the first thing I should do is write down the steps. So I'm going to write down the steps right here. So it's just step 1. Multiply. Okay, so we got to find out what is the greatest common multiple. What is the biggest thing, the most here from the denominators. I'm going to stop talking with that voice. So what is the greatest common multiple? Well, it's something it's like a common denominator. What is the common denominator here? Well, in this case, it'd be x squared. But let me write that here. So we're gonna multiply every term by the common denominator, and in this case, the common denominator is x squared. It's kind of like, what's the biggest denominator? That's what they're kind of asking. So here, if I'm multiplying by the common denominator, in this case it's x squared. So I'm going to multiply every term by x squared, and I'm not really going to distribute or anything, and you'll see why in a moment, because stuff cancels. Like I cancel stuff. What's x squared divided by x?
Oh, that's just x.
Yeah, it's just x. So we get x here, right? X times 1, which is just x. What's x squared divided by x squared?
Oh, that just cancels out to 1.
Yeah, that just cancels out to 1. So that goes away, and we're left with the top. So that's plus x plus 4. And then x squared divided by x again.
I already said that. Why don't you listen?
Okay, I was just okay. So this is x squared divided by x. That's just x times the 5. So that would be 5x. So we have this. Well, that's great. What next? You combine like terms. Combine like terms on either side of the equation. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have, what are the like terms? Well, I think I have an x, and so x plus x. We did this yesterday, I think. That's 2x. And then I have a plus 4. It just doesn't have any like terms on the left side, right? There's no like terms with the 4 over there. And then we just have 5x. Okay. Now some of you may be thinking, and some of you may not be thinking. You should be thinking, what do I do next? Well, we just have to, we've seen this before. It's step 3. It's to get the variables to one side and the numbers to the other. So I'll write that. That bell, man. I'll tell you what. All right. So get variables to one side, numbers to the other. So that's what we have. Get the variables to one side, numbers to the other. So I'm gonna just move this, the minus the 2x. I'm gonna subtract that over to the right side. I'll move it over, and that goes away. You know, it's just how it goes. And then I have the 4. I copy that down. It's positive, so I don't have to write anything there. And then I have 5x minus 2x. Well, those are like terms, so I can do that. 5 minus 2, that's 3. So this will be 3x right there. And then I'll divide by 3, because that's how I get the x by itself. So I just divide both sides by 3, and then it's just a matter of copying down what I see right there in front of me. And it's just the x equals 4 divided by 3. Yeah, there you go. That's the answer. Now we're gonna solve another problem, and it's gonna be pretty simple, and everybody's gonna be happy, right? It will just show you some more examples, so you understand what's going on. All right, let's move on. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Ooh, this is nice. What do I have to do? I have to first, what is my steps? What is I to do? Multiply every term by the common denominator. What the heck is the common denominator here? Well, maybe you could think of it, but I already have it. It's 6n squared. D, what do you mean by the common denominator? I mean, all you're doing is finding a number that is divisible by this and this and this. So one single term that you can that you can divide by n squared, also 6n squared and 6n squared. So in that case, you can divide all of those by all of those go into 6n squared. So the common denominator here is just 6n squared. So I'm going to multiply by 6n squared. And again here, 6n squared. I think I'm going to rewrite it actually, because it's getting a little crowded. So when I multiply by the common denominator, that will be 6n squared. And 6n squared. And I guess I can include that sign, 6n squared. So what happens? Now I will simplify. On this one, we have the n squared divided by the n squared. That goes away. And we have 6 times 1. Well, that's just 6. Easy. And then on this one, I have 6n squared divided by 6n squared. So all of that goes away. And I'm just left with n minus 4. But be careful. Notice that there's a subtraction sign. So we need parentheses. N minus 4. Okay? Lots of people are going to forget that. So you got to be careful. When you have the subtraction, you got to put in those parentheses. And then I got the 6n squared divided by the 6n squared. That just leaves me with negative 1. Okay, so that's what I have. Oh, in this case, I need to distribute. I need to distribute this negative. That's important to have those parentheses. So I just distribute the negative right there, and I have what do I have? I have 6 minus n, right? Negative 1 times n is just negative n. Negative 1 times the negative 4, well, that's just positive 4. Do you see that? So there we go. Now we get the numbers to one side and the variables to the other. Well, I'm going to leave my variable right there. Just so you remember that it's a 1, right? And what do I do? Oh, combine like terms. I can combine like terms. Those are like terms right there. So what do I get? 6 plus 4, that's 10. So I got like 10 minus 1n or minus n, and that's equal to negative 1. So I'll get the numbers to the right side. So I subtract the 10 over. I'll do that. And then I got negative 1 minus 10. That's just negative 11 even. Yeah, that's just negative 11. I'm gonna just continue to write it red because that's what I've been doing. I'm gonna keep doing that. So I got a minus 11 there. And I got a negative 1n. I'm just divide by negative 1 just so I could get rid of the negative. Yeah, because then the answer is just 11. Yeah, it's just positive 11. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to do more examples so you guys understand better what's going on.